Alright, so during UFC 310, they finally announced the main event and co-main event for UFC 312, and it is extremely underwhelming, okay? Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland and Zhang Wei Li versus Tatiana Suarez are two fights that absolutely nobody cares about anymore. Okay, anyway, let me know what you think about this card, whether you love it or whether you hate it, and while you're down there, I'd appreciate if you could like, subscribe. Hopefully we can hit 500 subs at the end of the year. Anyway, let me get into it. Starting off with Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis, you know, it's kind of funny because this fight would have been absolutely crazy if they announced it like I don't know, like 9 months ago, bro, okay? This is a fight a lot of people actually wanted to happen, okay? People forget, man, bro. People forget, okay? Sean Strickland, a lot of people thought that Sean Strickland got robbed in their first fight. And me personally, I thought he did get robbed in that first fight. And on top of that, I thought he deserved an immediate rematch just because everybody thought that Sean Strickland won. And I know there's a couple people that say that it wasn't everybody, man. It was just a loud minority, bro. Which is just so stupid to say because even Dana White said this. And I know Dana White isn't like the representative of good ideas, okay? We've all seen him like sucking off John Jones every single day. But look, he's right. I do think that Sean Strickland should have won that fight, and a lot of people did think that he won. So for him not to get an immediate rematch, it was kind of crazy to me because they gave Israel Adesanya a title shot off of like a dominant loss, okay? And on top of that, Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis 2 would have been a huge fight if they announced it like ages ago, like I said. But this fight happening now, like, bro, nobody cares, okay? This fight literally makes no sense. In my opinion, I think Hamzat should have got the title shot, bro. He went out there and he finished Robert Whittaker, who Sean Strickland just did not want to fight, okay? I think this is a big reason on why Sean Strickland doesn't really deserve the title shot, because it's like, he ducked Robert Whittaker. He refused to fight anybody until he got his title shot. And it's like, Sean Strickland has lost so much aura since he lost his belt. It's actually crazy because there was a point where Sean Strickland was actually like a huge star. Okay, believe it or not, after he beat Izzy, he was actually a huge star. Even after he lost to Dricus, because a lot of people didn't even see it as a loss. People actually really like Sean Strickland. And he just lost it all because he built up this whole persona of him being kind of crazy. Oh, I don't care if I lose the belt, blah, blah, blah. You know, all of this, shooting guns all the time, you know, breaking his belt, all this crazy stuff. And in the moment he loses the belt, he's crying constantly and like talking about how much he wants the belt back after talking about how he doesn't care about the belt. It's like, bro, what are you doing? It's like no one really likes Sean Strickland after that because it's like he keeps talking about going to war and whatever, and then he'll jab and teep to a decision. It's actually crazy, and it just comes off as so disingenuous, and it's just like, people don't like that, bro. No one wants to see this guy just be fake and pretend to be hard and whatever, just to have the worst performances ever in the octagon, and on top of that be the biggest crybaby. Like, genuinely, he has just been crying non-stop on Twitter, calling for a title shot, saying Hamzat doesn't deserve it, this guy doesn't deserve it, Sean Strickland, I actually deserve it the most. It's crazy. Like, bro, shut up and just fight a contender, bro. He hasn't fought. He literally refused to fight until he got his title shot, bro. This is what makes Sean Strickland, like, I just don't think he deserves it anymore. Like, it doesn't really make too much sense. No one really cares. Again, that's the biggest part. Nobody cares about this fight. This fight, it probably will sell because Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis, they have crazy beef. But, like, I don't think anyone's going to be, like, actually excited for this fight because just, like, what is the point, okay? I feel like we all know Dricus du Plessis is probably going to win. I think Sean Strickland, to be honest, does have a good chance in winning this. I mean, he wasn't, like, dominating the first fight on the feet, but he kind of was, bro. I think he was, like, barely getting hit, and he was tagging up Dricus pretty nicely, and on top of that, he really only got hit after he got cut above the eye. But at the same time, his performance over Costa was so boring. It's like, that was not a good showcase of his skill. So, I don't know. Against Dricus, maybe he'll be good. Who knows, bro? Like, it's kind of hard to tell. But the rest of the card, man, the rest of the card absolutely sucks, okay? Outside of Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis, the card is just like, I have no idea what's going on, okay? Like, why is there a South African and then 2 Americans and then a Chinese person headlining an Australian card? Like, I know there aren't any Australian champs, but like, just put some guys on here, bro. It makes no sense. Again, on top of that, JDM versus Kamaru Usman. This is not going to happen, by the way. JDM probably won't even fight on this card, which is crazy to me. Like, bro, the biggest Australian star right now, I think, is probably JDM, outside of like Volk, but Volk, I don't know what's going on with him right now. Hopefully they do add Volk versus Diego Lopez onto this card. I think that would be a good fight. Or just Volk versus anyone. I don't really care. You know, I'm sure this card will be stacked as time goes on, but there's just not really a lot of Australian stars right now that I think are available to even fight on this. Like, apart from Volk versus Diego Lopez, I really don't think there's anybody else. Like, unless Steve Erceg, you consider Steve Erceg and Kai Kara France stars. Like, there's like nobody else from that area who can really even go on this card. But the card is actually pretty decent from what I can see. It's just that I don't know what they can even add to this, because it's like Ray Segura versus Stuart Nickel. That is a great fight. Ray is just an incredible prospect, a very talented grappler, and Stuart Nickel, I think he's decent on the ground, but Stuart Nickel is kind of a can, I'm not going to lie. Even though he got signed, he was undefeated, but he's really not that good, to be honest. But Ray Saruya, this guy is very good, so that's a very exciting fight. But apart from that, like, this card genuinely, like, sucks, bro. Okay, Jimmy Crute versus Marcin Parachnio. Alright, okay, Quilan Salakid. I don't know how to say his name. Bro, that's definitely not how you say his name. He's Australian. I pronounce it like he's Arabian. But then you have Anshul Jubli. Anshul Jubli is one of the guys on this card, bro. Oh my god, this is genuinely cooked, bro. You know Anshul Jubli is cooked. This guy's literally ranked 155 on Tapology, bro. This guy's the lowest possible ranking. And then you have a Taliesin Teixeira versus Justin Tafa. That's a pretty good fight, but I think Taliesin Teixeira is just probably going to knock out Justin Tafa in the first round, and that's really going to suck on an Australian card. And then you have Tom Nolan versus Vorslav Borlichev. That's a pretty good fight, to be honest. Tom Nolan, though, he has questionable IQ at times. Okay, this guy like chooses to stand and bang despite being like long and rangy, and it's really funny because one time he said, "Oh, I take notes from Corey Sandhagen's YouTube channel." When has Corey Sandhagen ever thought like you do in his life, bro? Like, this guy genuinely watches Corey Sandhagen videos with his like eyes closed. Like, instead of watching Corey Sandhagen, he watches like Death Sentence on Street Beefs. It's genuinely insane to me. But Bordashev is pretty good. I think this is going to be a good striking match, but I think Tom Nolan's probably going to win this. Then you have Jack Jenkins, who's very, very good, versus Gabriel Santos, who is another guy who I think is pretty good from what I remember. And overall, this card is, I mean, obviously they'll add to it. It's a not finished card, but I think they'll add more stars to it. But I just don't see how they can make this like an Australian card, bro. Like, this genuinely just seems like some random Vegas card more than anything. Like, there's nothing really like specific to Australia, which I don't think they have to do that, but like at the same time, when you're going to Australia like once or twice a year, I think it's like pretty good just to have like some of the stars on here. But like, they could have just delayed it, you know what I mean? Like, they could have just made the Australia card like another date if every single Australian fighter cannot fight. Like, I just don't really understand that. They could have just put this in like I don't know, like Vegas or something, or maybe even like Miami, like just anywhere else. It probably would have made more sense than putting it on an Australian card, because this fight didn't even need to be in Australia, by the way, because Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland, neither of these guys are Australian. It's not like they were in a rush to make this in Australia. They could have just moved this Australia card up to like maybe August or something. By the time that JDM and Volk probably are ready to fight, then you can put it on there. But apart from that, there's literally nothing to put on this card because there's no Australian stars available. Again, outside of like Steve Erceg, like who... I can't really think of any at the top of my head. They probably will add Diego Lopez versus Volk if that fight does get made. They'll probably add Volk on here. I think they'll do that. Outside of that, there's literally no one else. Maybe Carlos Ulberg if he gets the win. I believe he's fighting very early, like January. Maybe a quick turnaround for him if he wants to. But apart from that, that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. That's going to be it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Alright.